Well, hi everyone. My name is Scott Annan, and if you're watching this video, you are probably going to be taking my Math 250B class at Cal State Fullerton during the fall 2025 semester. And I gotta tell you, I'm really looking forward to it. I've taught this class many times through the years. It is a combination of differential equations and linear algebra, two seemingly very different branches of mathematics that somehow come together in this beautiful synthesis that we're going to see over the 15 weeks of the semester. We're going to see that linear algebra is an invaluable tool to helping us pursue our study of differential equations, and differential equations in turn have many, many real-world applications, some of which we're going to get into. But before we get into all of the math and start talking about the actual content for the course, this video is intended to give you an overview of how the class is going to run, some of the logistics, the expectations, just to get you comfortable and kind of familiar with what the rhythm is going to be as we go through the semester. What I'm going to do to facilitate this conversation is I'm going to share my screen with you here so that you'll be able to hopefully see the class homepage for Math 250B. This is in Canvas. And this is the homepage in Canvas. We will be using Canvas quite frequently. All of the homework assignments will be here. I will put announcements here from time to time, solutions to assignments or exams, things of that nature. I have a library of videos and just general documents. All of it is kind of here in Canvas, and I hope it'll be very easy for you to navigate your way around the Canvas page. From the home page here, I'm going to start by opening up the syllabus, which you can see right here at the top, so that we can take a minute and talk through some things from the syllabus for this course. Hopefully you're able to see this orange page that has some of the course information on it. By the way, I'm going to be teaching two sections of this course, a morning section at 10 a.m. and an afternoon section at 2 p.m. These class meetings are on Tuesdays and Thursdays only, and essentially they run for about 2 hours. Because the classes are almost 2 hours long, I will typically be taking a 10-minute break during the middle of the class so that you'll have an opportunity to stretch your legs, catch up on anything from your phone, and just get some water and step away if you need to for a few minutes. But the classroom that we will normally be meeting in is McCarthy Hall 476. There will be occasionally exceptions to that where we need to meet either through Zoom or through videos. So I'll keep you posted about that. Even when we are meeting in person, I will be turning on the Zoom classroom in Zoom, and I'll be recording the class lecture. I've gotten a lot of feedback in the past that students like to be able to go back and re-watch some aspect of a previous lecture. And so by recording the lectures, I'll be able to post them in Canvas for you to watch at any time. However, of course, you should always attend classes in person whenever we are meeting in person, because it's a much better environment for learning than if you're just watching the Zoom recording later. But I will record all of these classes. I also understand occasionally somebody may have to miss a class for some emergency. And if that is the case, you will be able to watch the lecture at your leisure after I post up the video. I have an office in the basement of McCarthy Hall, and I have a phone number still. I don't use that very much, but certainly whenever I'm in my office hours, I will be having them both in person and in Zoom. So I also have, as you can see here, there is a ID number for my Zoom office as well. And so if you are not on campus and you want to just talk to me from wherever you're located, you can come into Zoom during my office hours and do that. Speaking of my office hours, I have a lot of them. Usually on both Sunday and Monday nights, I hang out in my office to kind of get ready for the week ahead. I'll let you know if for any reason I'm not able to be there on a particular Sunday or Monday, but most of the time I should be able to do that. But the bulk of my office hours, as you can see, will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, kind of sprinkled in between when I will actually be having my classes. So you can see that in the morning, I have a 10 a.m. class, but I'll be in my office roughly for the hour before that class. And then after I'm done with the morning class from 12 to 12:30, I'll be back in my office again. Also, after my last class of the day, which ends at 5:15, I will be down in my office on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5:30 until 10 o'clock, with a bit of a dinner break around 7 o'clock that I like to schedule for myself. Anyway, if these hours don't work for you, or if you want to set up a different time to have a meeting with me, you're always welcome to do that. I have my email address here. Feel free to shoot me an email anytime, and I will respond back to you as soon as I can and set up a time that we can talk maybe outside of the regular office hours if you prefer. The textbook is one that I actually co-authored. It is called Differential Equations and Linear Algebra, which is basically the title of this class. You are going to want to have the fourth edition of the book. It's been around for a long time, so you can probably find it online. You could also find a used copy somewhere if you needed to. There is a more recent version of the fourth edition that includes some video enhancements that were done by myself. And that one may be a little bit harder to track down. You don't absolutely have to have that video enhanced version, though, because after all, you're going to be listening to me talk about the material anyway. And so you'll get all the information through that or through videos that I make available to you through my YouTube channel. I do have a YouTube channel, by the way, so feel free to subscribe or find me online through YouTube, because I do have a lot of good math material there related to this class. I'll let you read the course description there on your own. The grading for the class, mostly it's going to be based on 3 midterms and a final. There will be 10% of the grade that's based on homework, but that shouldn't give you the wrong idea that there's not much homework. There actually will be a lot of homework in this class, and I just want to be upfront about that. That's always the thing that students tell me, is that there's just so much material, so much to do, and it is just the nature of the beast. I'm required to cover everything on the syllabus for this class that's been given to me, whether I like it or not. And I do know that at times it can feel like a heavy load. Hopefully, you'll be able to get out in front of some of this stuff. And I'll do my best to sort of make sure you're aware of when we're going to hit some of those pinch points where you're going to need to really do some quick turnaround on things. But for the most part, it's going to be a pretty steady semester all the way through. I will upweight the best part of your grade by an extra 5% weight. So at the end of the semester, whichever of the components of your grade, whether it was the homework, whether it was one of the 3 midterms, or whether it was the final, those 5 components, whichever one of those was your best scoring component, I'll make it count for an extra 5% weight when I'm calculating your grade. And I'll take that 5% away from whichever is the weakest of your 5 components of your grade. So I'll do this on a student by student basis, looking through to see, well, what was their best component? What was their weakest component? And I'll shuffle or reweight the grade a little bit in your favor to emphasize the best part of your grade. I also allow myself to have liberties of up to 2 to 3% of your overall grade that'll be based on a qualitative thing I call performance. And this is based on things like just participation and attendance, improvement, coming to office hours if you needed to, things like that. Just your overall engagement with the class, good attitude, stuff like that. So these are things that won't be reflected in an ongoing manner on this grade sheet in Canvas throughout the semester. But rest assured, at the end of the semester, these little tweaks that I'm going to do generally can be useful for bumping a student up to the next grade level, especially if it seems like they're pretty close to the cutoff and that they deserve it. Okay. Speaking of the cutoffs, the grading scales for the course are right here. You can see them all spelled out. I use a little bit more generous scale than just a 90, 80, 70 scale for A's, B's, and C's. Instead, I have more like I guess, a 12 and a half point scale with pluses and minuses in there as well. So that's the grade scale. I will stick with this scale. I will not change this scale. If I need to quote unquote curve grades for any reason, I'll do that within the grades themselves, but it's all going to be fitted onto this curve that you're seeing right now in the syllabus sheet. I'm not going to change this particular set of grade ranges. I mentioned we'll have 3 midterms and a final. Here are the dates of those exams, so be sure to get them into your calendar early so that you're ready to set aside the time you need to study for them. I will be providing a lot of resources for those exams, and so you'll want to have time to be able to go through those resources, even though they will be optional. You won't be required to do like the sample exams or the review packets or things like that. But most students usually find them very useful to do. And so setting aside some time, 2 or 3 or 4 days before these midterms are going to roll around, isn't a bad idea so that you have a little bit of extra time to get ready for the tests. Let's see. Attendance policy here. I don't really take attendance, as I mentioned. I will record the class lectures. But you will be responsible for everything that happens in class. And it's really a telltale sign of a good student. One who is likely to succeed in this class is somebody who's coming to class all the time. Okay. If you're just coming now and then, periodically or whatever, and trying to keep up through Zoom instead, those are the students that tend to struggle a bit more overall. So I really don't want you to get into that bad habit with this class. If possible, please always try to come to class, even if I'm not taking attendance. I probably will take attendance at the beginning of the semester just to get my rosters stabilized and make sure that nobody's taking up a spot on my roster who's actually not intending to be involved in the class at all. But pretty quickly in the beginning of the semester, I will stop taking attendance on a regular basis. Let's see, September 9th, that's an important date for, speaking of the roster, you need to get yourself added to the roster by September 9th in order to not have to pay a fee and get added with special permission. And same thing on the withdrawing side. If you decide to withdraw from the class and you don't want to have a W ending up on your transcript, you need to withdraw by September 9th. So that's the Tuesday during the 3rd week of the semester. So make sure you keep that in mind if you're having any hesitations about whether you're going to take the class or not. We do have Thanksgiving holiday, November 25th and 27th. So we definitely won't be meeting during that week at all. Homework, whatever dates that there will be homework, it'll be due basically at midnight on the night that it's due. That way you can come to class that day. Usually the homework will be due on Tuesdays or Thursdays, although not always. Sometimes I'll have a Friday deadline or some other date that's more appropriate. But at any rate, it'll always be due at the end of the day so that you have a chance to come to office hours or talk to me in class. Sometimes I'll even do some of the problems in class just to help you kind of get the homework off of your plate a little bit. When you submit the homework into Canvas, please submit a single file with all of your pages combined into a single document. I don't like to have to open a bunch of different links or files that you've submitted, so make sure that it's just one file. Having said that, if you submit the homework before the deadline and then you realize later that you either made a mistake or you want to edit or add something to your assignment, you can resubmit the homework and override your initial submission all the way up until 11:59 p.m. on the day that it's due. So that's always a possibility. Sometimes students will do that. They'll submit it and then they'll come to office hours and realize that maybe they need to fix something. So then they can still go back and fix it and resubmit it and override their original submission. That's perfectly fine. But please, guys, just send me one file. Make sure the pages are in the correct order. The usual thing, try to be neat, use good handwriting. If you even include how many pages are in the assignment, that can be helpful as well in case something gets lost in the transmission process. I will not be the one grading your homework. So you need to do an especially careful job of writing it up well for my grader, because my grader isn't going to have a lot of time to spend um, figuring out, well, what was the person trying to write here, or, oh, I can't find problem number 25, or whatever it is, right? So please do your best to be organized and as neat and professional as possible in writing up those homeworks. Okay, I already talked about qualitative performance. Really briefly, academic integrity, I can let you read all this stuff. This basically means that whatever work you're submitting in this class, it should be your own work. That doesn't mean you cannot collaborate with other students or even with me. If we meet in my office hours and 10 people are there and we write up, the problem on my whiteboard and everybody copies it down, no problem, okay? But you need to be present and participating in the creation of whatever it is that you're going to put into your homework. So what that means is that if somebody else completely solved a problem for an assignment, and then you simply copied it down without actually being involved in the solving process, that would be considered plagiarism. That shouldn't happen. You shouldn't be getting credit for that sort of thing. So please be careful. Do not just copy solutions from someone else. Don't copy them from a manual, from an online source. A lot of times those online solutions, I mean, the solutions to the homework, you'll find them online, but not necessarily in the style or the notation or even the method that I've been teaching. And so those sort of fake solutions are always really easy to spot because they just don't adhere to sort of the way I run these problems or the way I explain and teach and write out these problems. So please don't get me into a lot of headaches with people copying homework solutions. That's really not going to be helpful. And it won't help you learn the material either, by the way, which ultimately for the exams, which are the bulk of what your grade is based on, you need to be able to do the problems. So please do work on them and make sure you understand everything that you have submitted. I'll let you read the rest of this about emergency procedures and disabled student services. Final thoughts. I really would love it if you would stop by my office sometime before September 16th. That's roughly the beginning of the fourth week of the semester. You can do it in Zoom or in person. You can come alone. You can come with someone else. I just want to learn your names a little bit easier. And I can do that much better when I see people one or two at a time at my office rather than trying to learn everybody's name when we're all together in the classroom. And also, I want to get to know you a little bit, find out what your goals are, what your interests are, and just helps me to, put a little humanity into to all the faces that I see in the classroom as well. So I would really appreciate if you would do that. If you stop by my office by the start of the fourth week of the semester, I will allow you to do an extra credit quiz before each of our midterms. And those quiz points will be added to your midterms themselves. So they can really make a difference in your exam scores. And I think that'll be great. And also, I will probably, if you stop by my office sometime before the fourth week of the semester, in addition to the extra credit quizzes, I'll end up dropping your lowest homework assignment or two at the end of the semester in case you had to miss one or something like that. So it's definitely well worth doing and very easy. It'll only take 5 minutes, but I'd really appreciate it. Down here at the end of the syllabus, I have attached the learning goals for the class. You can see there's a lot of stuff here, guys. These are the bullet point items of everything we're supposed to go over in this class. And we're going to pretty much do them in the order that they're listed here. But in case you're wondering what you're going to be getting out of this class, what you're going to be learning, well, here you can see quite a bit of a description about that. The other thing that's maybe of interest to look at is the schedule and the timeline for the semester. I don't promise to stick exactly to this, but it's just basically a 15-week listing of the topics for this class and kind of where we expect to be working at which time. So you can see, for example, during the first week, what we're going to cover on Tuesday, what we're going to cover on Thursday, things like that. So it's just to give you kind of a rough idea. You can see I've highlighted where the midterms are as well. But it's not something to worry about if I fall behind a little bit or if I get ahead a little bit. Those things can happen. One way or the other, we will get through all of it. I should mention, you might notice here, there's an item here that says extra video on it. Um, Once in a while, I will need to ask you. I guess here I only listed one time, but there will be multiple times, just so you're aware now, where I will be asking you to watch a video outside of class. I'll probably ask you to take notes on that video and submit those notes into Canvas. And I'll probably give you some credit for that, either as an assignment or as some extra credit or something like that. So anyway, just be aware that from time to time there will be some videos to watch outside of class. It's kind of this flipped classroom model where sometimes we teach the material through videos, and that gives us more time during class to actually talk about homework questions or do group works where we can collaborate as a team and kind of try to enhance our learning collectively. Okay, let's see. Over on this left column, you'll see some other things I'll mention here. Well, let me start with the pages section. The pages section of the Canvas page is where I will keep videos of things like review sessions. So I'll be doing review sessions before the midterms and the final. This is also where I'm going to deposit the class lectures. I mentioned that I would be recording them in Zoom, so you'll be able to find them there. There's also some additional videos that from time to time I'll probably ask you to watch that I've made in the past that cover certain topics that I really think would be helpful for you to see. There are some of those additional videos here. I'll just open it up for a second. Some of these will be optional and you won't have to watch them. You can see anywhere from 30 minutes to 8 minutes to 3 minutes. So these will be things that maybe would supplement what's in the lecture. And not all of them are going to end up being required videos that you have to watch. But they are here if you're interested in watching them and if you think you could use a little extra dose of listening to my voice rather than maybe reading something out of the book or whatnot. I urge you to take advantage of this as a resource as well. Also, I should mention now that during the first week of the semester, we are not going to be meeting in person, mainly because I'm not going to be in town. And so I am going to have a video assignment for you. It's called August Videos. And in addition to the syllabus video that you're watching right now, there will be several other videos here. The first video actually has 4 parts to it. And then there's videos 2, 3, 4, and 5 as well. But all of this is kind of to cover what we would have covered during the 4 hours of the first week of the semester. So I'll be having you do the first week through videos. You'll be submitting your notes on those videos and getting credit for those as an assignment. So anyway, so I should point that out. So if we look at the assignments section in Canvas now, you'll see that, for example, the very first assignment is called August Video Assignment, and it will be due by 11:59 p.m. on August 26th. After that, we have regular assignments that are listed here. Let me just open up assignment number 1. And in these assignments, you'll see there's some required problems, and then there's some recommended problems. The ones that say T-F, those are true false items that I'd like you to look at. Anytime you're answering a true false item, please know that I not only want you to tell me whether the item is true or false, but I will want you to give me a brief 1 or 2 sentence reason. Why is it true or why is it false? Just a rough reason. It's not something that's supposed to take a long time or be real in depth. But I do want all of the true false items justified. And if my grader chooses to grade any of the true false items, he or she is going to be looking for those justifications. I forgot to mention, by the way, on the grading of these homework assignments, you'll be getting some credit just for submitting a complete set of solutions to the problems, regardless of whether they're right or not. And then you'll be getting part of the credit on each assignment based on specific problems that my grader is going to look at in detail and check your work in detail for. I usually don't tell my grader which problems to do that with. I allow that person to pick and choose some of the problems from the assignment that they want to give a little extra attention to. But you'll need to, of course, do the whole assignment just to make sure that you get the credit for the completeness portion of the points. And also, just in case my grader happens to pick a particular problem, then you want to make sure you've done that problem. Anyway, so the assignments are here. All of them for the whole semester pretty much are going to be appearing here sequentially as we go along. Your grades will be kept here as well, so that's something you'll be able to check. And then the other thing I wanted to point out is the files section. So in here, you're going to see folders. What kind of folders do we have in here? Well, there's a folder that has all the homework solutions in it. So if you go in there, for example, you'll see all of the assignments. There's basically a document that has the solutions spelled out in detail to those homework problems. And I will publish these solution files as we go along, after the due dates have passed. You'll have a chance to look at those solutions and just double check your work. Sometimes in class we will do group work activities. So there'll be several of these. These will not be graded. This will not be part of your grade, but we will spend some class time doing these. And because I think they're pretty useful, I decided to put them in Canvas so that you can refer back to them and practice them again, even after we've finished doing it as a class activity. I also have all of the solutions to all of the group works here. So you won't have to worry about ever having the solutions to that. In fact, I always publish solutions to everything that I ask you to do throughout the semester. There's also some resource folders here. I mentioned this earlier, that prior to each exam, there'll be folders here. I'll just open this one now just to give you an idea. You can see that there's some sample midterms are here. There's a couple of those. There's a review packet. There's a review session. All of these kinds of things are here. And each of our exams will have a folder like that. All of that stuff will be optional for you to look at, but might be useful, as you're trying to study for the exam, to take a look at that. Also, there's a special handouts folder. I will always alert you to when there's something in here that you need to be looking at. You don't have to worry about this folder too much. But there's a dozen or so documents here, one of which is the learning goals document that I already showed you. But there's some other things here that we're probably going to want to look at from time to time. And so I just wanted to put them somewhere in Canvas so that you could easily access them at your leisure. So that kind of takes care of most of the main things in the Canvas page. The files section, the assignments section, and the pages section, along with the grades, are the main parts of the Canvas page that you're going to want to refer to. Okay, well, guys, I think that just about covers it. What I'll say for now is don't forget that during the first week of the semester, we are not going to be meeting in person. I will be having all of my office hours for the first week in Zoom. And you have that August video assignment that you can start looking at anytime you want, even before the semester begins if you want to get a head start. Those videos are all linked in that assignment. And it's just going to take you to my YouTube channel where you'll find those videos for you to watch and take notes on. And as you're doing so, feel free to write down any questions you may have, and you'll be more than welcome to ask those questions, either in person when I get back to campus or during my office hours, potentially during Zoom as well. So feel free to do that. But once you're done with this syllabus video, that's probably the next thing I'd recommend that you could do if you want to get a jump on things, is take a look at that August video assignment. Feel free to reach out with questions. You're welcome to email me if there's anything from this video that wasn't clear, or you have any other lingering concerns about the class or about the logistics. By all means, I'm here. I'm happy to help out. I'm really excited about teaching this class. I always love teaching this class, and it's never a dull moment for Math 250B. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I look forward to meeting you all again very soon. Bye for now. Thank you.